Kirksville, it's like people were friendly and kind and respectful. And I felt like that they have been adding lots of other kind of fun events to get the community together. The whiskey celebration in the fall, the kids boat race at the pool, the upgrade of the equipment at the city parks. The focus is on creating a joyful experience. It is contagious. That means free to be yourself, not worried about how you are representing, which means everyone letting go of judgment instead of people, and allowing spontaneous joy and kindness and connection. The logo for the city of Kirksville has been, I don't know if it still is, people make the difference. And I believe that to be true, no matter where you are. I think that people make the most difference. And the people in Kirksville are just kind, as I call him Boston Allan, that's how I know him. He said all the people have been very friendly to him, very open, very receptive. And I think that's extremely important. And I think that it hasn't always been like that on the city council, and I think that it is now. I just want to be part of that and bring that good energy and support and all the other sorts of things.
My name is Danny McDowell. I'm a lifetime resident of Kirksville. I was born and raised right here in this city. And Kirksville has been good to me. It's made a good place to raise my family and everything. I've been in the hospitality business and the construction business. I've had budgets, everything. And what I notice the most is our citizens seem to not feel welcome to be able to come to a council meeting. We come to a council meeting, maybe we don't want citizens. And I've heard more complaints out of that, how we do not listen to our citizens. Our citizens is one of the main important factors. If we want a good, strong city government, we have to have involvement of the citizens. You have to be able to communicate with us, and we need to communicate back with you. My philosophy is maybe we need to set up some more meetings with our citizens so you can come and we can talk and you can get your points across to us. I think I'm capable of doing anything we need for this city government. I do think we need to watch our budget, tighten our belts like everybody is in this day and age. So I think I can do the job for you, and I will do my best to do it. Thank you.
That will conclude our opening statements. Thank you, candidates. Boston John, we could have never guessed where you were from. Now guess where I'm from. No clue. Mississippi. We're now ready for our question and answer session. Candidates, please let me know before you begin your answer if you need a question repeated. Okay? And we'll start with Cindy. You'll begin. So the first question is, how do you see yourself using your experience to better our community?
Well, I have a lot of interaction with different people through the community, through the years with my kids. You know, I was on the school board, and I feel that, and I also have a lot of interaction, knowing how to relate to people and get things passed if you want to, you know, and kind of bringing people together as a group. And I think that the Kirksville City Council needs, you know,
Thank you, City Mayberry. Now, Danny McDowell, you have 2 minutes for your response.
I believe that we need to everybody get together. We need to be all one part, not separated. We have to communicate with each other and do the best we can. We need to take care of each other. We all need to learn who our neighbors are, what we can do to help, and our other fellow man. I think we can do it, but it's going to take the work of all of us to get it done. Thank you.
And should we read Kevin's at last, or?
Yeah, let's read it last.
Okay, so, John, you're on.
I'm a business owner, and so it's one of the things I have is a business experience, and so I think that's always important when you're in this position to run for city council or any position like that. We make decisions for the city, and so that's one thing I think I could bring to the table, and maybe a different perspective of business, how somebody else might have a different perspective from their business. And also too, the other thing I think is important too is this, I get along with people. And so my experience with people is, in the city has been great. And it's like I'm not sitting there saying, all this, but at the end of the day, it's like I get along with people well, and I can have conversations with people without being angry, without being bitter. And so it's like, and that's one of I think it's really important for both sides, whether it's the residents or the people in City Hall. I've lived and worked around City Hall and the residents, and even other businesses in my own trade. It's like I don't have this thing in me that is against this. It's like so I think it's important that we work together. And so, and I've done that. I think I've done that well with my customers and with people in the city.
And Kevin Allan says, I try to get along with everyone. Having lived in Kirksville, I feel that there are a lot of things I can help change. And he said that he's heard a lot of people talking about the fact that the city needs to lower real estate prices, and he'd love to help change that.
Thank you, Marie, on behalf of Mr. Allen. Question number 2, and this is a 2-part question. First, what is something you believe the city needs to do to attract businesses and industry to invest in Northeast Missouri and the greater Kirksville area? And second, how will you address this as a city council member? And we'll start with Danny McDowell.
I'm getting my steps into it.
If I were quicker, I would.
I really believe that we need to advertise our area, promote Kirksville for what we can do. We can make Kirksville be one of the best for businesses who want to locate here. And it's going to take work, but we can get it done. I think we have to promote Kirksville much better. I think that one of the things we could do in years past, we had citizens on committees that would go around and talk and visit with different businesses and travel around. I think we need to go back to that approach and get our citizens heading for some of the cities, different towns, to help promote Kirksville. We've got to have the citizens positive-minded and promoting Kirksville. And I think the best thing we can do is get our citizens to do it. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Mayberry?
I believe that part of the issue is that for people who want to come here to bring businesses, you have to have good school districts, you have to have, you have to have something that attracts them, that's important to them in their life and living their lives. I think the entertainment stuff that people have been promoting lately, and just the kindness of the community is big. I do not know how to go out and to attract big businesses and industry, but I don't think that anything is possible if that's what you're doing.
Thank you, Ms. Mayberry. And John?
Yes. I really don't have a definite answer on this. One thing I do think about is this: if you want a business to come in town, you're gonna have to like that, so, I'm not saying this is what we should do, I'm just saying, I'm of the belief that it's like, you get an industry to come in town and maybe, have 1,000 jobs that they bring to town, some, plants or something like that. But that's 1,000 jobs in Kirksville, that's people making good money. And so I think, how we do that, how we get them to come to town that's the conversation about, what do they need for them to come into town? Have those conversations. It's more than just promotion. It's like going and seeking out, having those conversations. It's like, what do you need, sitting down and doing those things. And can we do that? Can we have that kind of a business in town? Can we support that business with the people of Kirksville? And so just lots of conversations about those things.
Okay.
And Kevin Allan feels like we have a long way to go before we can get better, and we have several issues to take care of before we can attract new businesses.
Okay, thank you, Marie, and thank you to the candidates. Moving on to question number 3. Do you support the sales tax proposal? Why or why not? And we'll start with Danny. You have 2 minutes for your response.
I think it's been pretty plain all the way through it. No, I do not support this tax. I think we have ways that we can get around without taxing our citizens anymore. When I have older people crying to me, who want to know what to pay, how to pay, people on fixed income, it's just a little tax. But I think our city government can do a little bit better job of managing their money and maneuver around and not keep putting tax increases on us. Every time we turn around, we've got a tax increase. It'll be tight to do, but it can happen. We need to operate on the money that we have and not ask our citizens for more. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. McDowell. John?
Yeah, let me say this, I've asked a lot of questions about this. I'm doing my homework on this right now, as much as I possibly can. I've sat down with Mary come asked us a lot of questions about, is there grants available? Is there other funding available? Talk to her about the taxes that we have and some of the subsidized taxes, things like that. When are they coming off the table? If we pass a tax like this, I've not talked about this part yet, but this question asked me yesterday, actually. Is there a possibility that if we pass this tax that we can exclude fixed income and elderly? And so those are the questions I'm asking on that side. I understand both sides, I really do. And one thing I do want to say is this, I 100% support the police and fire department, and I've worked in these buildings, and I've seen the conditions these guys work in. It's like, I 100%, we have to find a way to get these guys to the building, not just them having to the building, but it's like, I don't want to work in those conditions. And so, why do we expect the police to protect us and the firefighters to protect us work in those conditions? And so, I have not made a decision which way I'm going to vote yet, because I want to get all the information I can get. And it's like, but truly, we have to find a way to help these guys get new buildings.
Ms. Mayberry?
I agree with, that we need these facilities, there's no doubt about that. But I'm not sure that I can go along with another sales tax, we just keep adding more and more and more sales tax. And that, even if it's a small amount, percentage, it hinders the poor. You can do any kind of research and figure that out. And actually, property taxes, it's like there's lots of properties here in Kirksville that is used for the Truman students and it's used for the AT still. And a lot of people have taken advantage of that over the years. They even have gotten on the city council to make sure they didn't have to keep those buildings up, and they've kind of taken advantage of it. And it's, I think that when you do a property tax, it taxes people who have more money, whereas the sales tax taxes people who don't have as much money.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mayberry, and you'll read Kevin's, Marie?
Yes, I can see both sides of the issue. If I had $20 million plus, I would help pay for it, but I don't.
Short and sweet. Okay, question number 4, and this is a two-part question, and I'm gonna let you start with Kevin's.
Oh,
I've gotten all out of order because he's not here, so. Okay, so first, people have expressed concern about enrollment at Truman State University as well as state funding. First, what do you think Kirksville can do to help attract students to Truman and Kirksville? And second, what can be done to help the legislature understand the importance of Truman to our region?
Okay, Kevin says Truman State and the city have taken over property, especially to the north of the campus that is not theirs, and that the city needs to stop helping them.
Okay,
Next.
John Hanley is next.
So I read this question tonight that I have not thought about this one yet. We need Truman. Truman has to be here, and so we know that. And we need to work with Truman too. I don't have the answer to how that this would work, honestly, and so I'm just gonna leave it at that this time. Thanks.
Okay. All right, Cindy Mayberry, you'll be next.
Unfortunately, it's not just a Truman problem or problem for us. It is nationwide, that there just are not as many students as there used to be. So I do not know, it's like maybe you can bring in, people are very needing of some sort of trade schools, for students where they can actually get out and start making money, and that they can come into the Kirksville community and add a lot to that. And it's like but I think that we can't do that. Truman, we have to talk to Truman and see, what do they want? How would they want help from us, and how could we help them? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Cindy.
I didn't answer the other parts.
Well, you sort of did. Okay, Danny?
I come from Truman. I've worked there 28 and a half years, and I have seen a big change. And the last few years have been quite a change. We are losing students. We don't have them. This affects the economy of Kirksville. When you lose almost half of your students, that 9-month period, they spend a lot of money in Kirksville. And we need the students. I think the city needs to promote both ATSU and Truman a little more, get a little bit more advertisement out there for them. We've got to have Truman. Just stop and think, if we didn't have Truman, what Kirksville would be like. If we didn't have craft food out there, the highest in Florida, what's it like? We are combining ourselves with Truman, and Truman is working hard to get the students. But I think we as citizens can, and the city government can, promote and make these students feel welcome. Maybe do a little bit more up on the square for them. Something to make our students feel welcome and want to come to Truman. We want to be different. Thank you.
Thank you to all of the candidates. I hope you don't mind, I'm gonna stray. Why do you think Danny, since you work at Truman, why do you think there is a decline?
Well, part of it is, it's the education now. The liberal arts is not near as important as it was. A lot of students is not taking it. And maybe the expenses, it's just a change. The liberal arts all over the United States is dropping. If we're going to more of a vocational, and you find a lot of your other universities are offering some vocational training with what we got, bringing in other students. So maybe that's what Truman needs to do. Keep their liberal arts, but let's bring in something else that will maybe put some of our students here in at Truman and bring more into us.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that's on your. It's a volunteer job.
Yeah, that's For chocolate, but
Oh darn, I forgot the dove.
that's okay. All right, this will conclude the questions for our Kirksville City Council candidates. Thank you to all of you who shared your time with us tonight. We wish you the best in the election. We also want to thank you for being willing to serve in a public office. I know that takes a lot of time and commitment, so thank you to all three of you and those who couldn't attend. We'd like to remind you that tonight's forum will be available on the Kirksville Area Chamber of Commerce YouTube page. This forum has been brought to you by the Governmental Affairs Committee of the Kirksville Area Chamber of Commerce. Please join me in thanking the committee for coordinating this event and Sherie for taking over Marie's multitasking and doing the timekeeping. And please remember. Please remember to vote on April the 7th. I'm Sherie Eklof with KLTE Bott Radio Network. Good night, God bless, and have a fantastic rest of your week.